we have the great good fortune to be dealing with none other, yes, the man, David Salvador, Gogo. Okay, I gotta say, hell of a year in so many ways.
Yeah.
In so many ways, but Gogo keeps going in many facets. 5G, what have you, and what 2,000 airframes now?
Yeah, 2,000 with our new advanced platform, which we launched in 2017. But overall, with our air-to-ground systems, the classic ATG 4,000, 5,000, those products, we have actually over 6,000 aircraft that are connected between the 2,000 advanced and the 4,000 plus classic air-to-ground.
So basically world domination any day now?
No, actually it's 28% of our addressable market as we see it. So
there we go.
You know, when we really brought air-to-ground to market, we had only a couple percent that were started the first year, but you know, here in 2021, we're actually up to about 28% of the addressable market is connected with Gogo air-to-ground systems.
Well, I was telling some of your folks, I believe I told you, a little bit over a year ago, I was crewing on a CJ3 along with our board chairman on the Bob Hoover Foundation, which I was executive director for that year, with Tracy Forrest. And he just had a lovely CJ3 and we were going all over the place, but Tracy and I, our idea of going, I remember one cross country, coast to coast, we get to the altitude, we pull the laptops out and okay, it's your turn to take primary and keeping an eye out while I get some work done, and we'd switch back and forth. And plus, oh yeah, here's a great cat video. But it's all on Gogo. And I was amazed at just how well the system handled everything that we were doing. We're popping up to, you know, we're trying to suck our way up to 410 and just having a great old time, and the system just plain performed. It was flawless. I mean, more important, just, you know, there's a connection, boom, done.
Sure.
Don't worry about it anymore.
Sure.
And I like it when things, JPW, just plain work.
Well, they have to work, right? I mean, if you're going to make that level of investment in connectivity for your aircraft, it better darn work, and it better work within what you have committed to work. Yeah. And in the case of our products, it's pretty much North America, so United States, Alaskan corridor, and all the populated areas of Canada.
Especially we live and work in complicated environments, and the last thing we need is another complication.
Sure.
So there you go. It was flawless, and I know Tracy just used it to death. I'm sure you just made big bucks off his bandwidth. He had a ball. Well,
you know, but he may have had the what we call the Pro plan, which has a fixed cost,
right?
Which is it's been a big advantage from folks wanting to invest in in-flight connectivity because it's predictable.
Yeah.
And then when you fly business aircraft, predictability every month is important. Or when you budget for the subsequent year, you need predictability.
Good deal. So, what's the latest and greatest in the Gogo world? Let's clear the decks and talk about 5G. Let's talk about the airplanes, and more important, what is next? Because you guys, 28% today, tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Well, 5G is what's front and center for our organization right now. We've been working on. We announced at the beginning of this week the first tower was put up for 5G, and we have used a test aircraft, a Beechcraft Baron, to test our antennas.
Good choice.
Well, yeah, efficient, you know, get across the country, and we flew the aircraft coast to coast. We took noise measurements, wanted to make sure we're replacing all the rest of our network is proper. Of course, we've been in development of the hardware for the aircraft in addition to the antenna, so the LRU, and our organization made our first end-to-end data session, which means we used the 5G SIM card. We connected through an aircraft antenna down to the tower, out to the internet, and then back, you know, through the server to the aircraft. So that was a milestone and significant for our organization.
I can believe it.
And it's a big deal. So, you know, between first tower going up, the infrastructure, the backhaul and work, we've really been actively in development of this, and we'll roll out a test network through the remainder of this year, and then we will basically start our first article STC and PMA aircraft, roll out the rest of the network, and then bring the whole program in service toward the backside of 2022.
Boy, maturity, that kind of maturity by the end of the year?
Yeah.
That's
by the
impressive.
end of 2022, yes.
Excellent, okay.
Yep.
You know, one of the things I've been doing a little bit of reading about, the regulatory environment you work in just must be insane. because you're crossing a whole lot of borders here.
Yeah.
Figuratively speaking, as well as literally. How does that work for you?
Well, by no means am I the expert on regulatory affairs, and we have folks that are dedicated to work on that for our company. But we've been building out air-to-ground networks for quite a few years. In fact, this will be the 4th network that we've launched. So we work closely with the regulatory authorities, and in the case of 5G, that is the experience is being delivered with 64 megahertz of spectrum. And the 60 megahertz is unlicensed frequency spectrum. And then, as you know from the products that you just explained you've flown on, that leverages 4 megahertz of licensed frequency spectrum. So Gogo is the sole user of that spectrum. It's dedicated only to aviation. So when we combine the unlicensed frequency spectrum and the licensed spectrum, it will deliver the 5G experience coast to coast in the United States.
Fascinating. The company made some big changes in the not too distant past between your dedicated airline unit and the decision to dedicate solely to get lean and mean, so to speak, with the business aviation community. How have they responded?
As far as the business aviation community? Very well. One of the things when you're growing a company, you do it at a lightning pace sometimes. The company was founded on this community, the business aviation community, decided to branch out into the commercial aviation world, and as we looked long down the road, and that being a company that handles both of those markets, we felt it would be better served for us to go back to our roots. And so the airline division was acquired by Intelsat, and now we are solely focused on the business aviation community and widening our addressable market. So, we have historically, our sweet spot's been really the super mid-size aircraft up into the heavies, and in the last few years we've been really focusing on expanding that market segment to go down market, down into the turboprops and the single turboprop type aircraft like a PC-12, and then all the way up. So it's been an effort to really broaden the addressable market to install our products in.
Yeah, I've got a M600 buddy who's lusting after you guys in a big way.
Yeah.
And especially the way he gets around, and he's got, for him, the right airplane, so he's having a great time.
Sure.
Interesting. Okay. The past year, above and beyond all the political changes within the company, were also difficult from the standpoint that the world was changing around us and not in a good way.
Yeah.
How did Gogo get through that?
Well, financially, it was a real challenge when the airline revenue stream shut down, and it truly shut down to nothing.
Yeah.
So our efforts in desire to become just a business aviation company again and move the commercial airline division to another organization, that had started prior to the pandemic. So we were fortunate that the company that acquired us, regardless of the pandemic, still moved forward with that acquisition. So the lack of revenue from the airline side, of course, once that acquisition occurred, then we went back to our roots, and business aviation, as we've seen, has really risen out of the pandemic at a lightning pace.
And in the long run, appears to be benefiting from the awareness of how valuable aviation can be, even in the most extreme circumstances.
Yeah, and tied with that, connectivity also has seen a spike in demand. Over 20% we've seen from a year ago to today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
When a business aviation customer comes to you, and they've got an airframe that is suiting them well, but they're looking for the versatility that comes with staying connected in a world that demands you stay connected, what's your process? What do you introduce them to? How do you educate them? How do you not just make them a customer, but give them the tools to utilize all of the abilities that are now at their dispatch?
Well, I think it really comes down to being the trusted advisor. Yeah. So if as we go through the process our solution is not the right solution for them, we'll recommend them to another product that may not be something we offer. We look at what the mission of the aircraft is, how many passengers typically fly on it, and sometimes for customers it may not always be 100% meeting the requirements of that mission based on the ROI. So the return on investment by investing connectivity needs to be a strong one. And with the highest concentration of business aircraft here in North America, we win very often because of that. But we don't just sell them to sell them something, because to your point, we want to build a long-standing customer, and if we don't, let's say the aircraft is based in California, but it constantly is going overseas, then we wouldn't sell them an air-to-ground system, because they may have a very short time span they can use it.
Fascinating. The internet connectivity business, if we can put it that way, rather succinctly, there's some competition out there. Mm-hmm. What distinguishes Gogo? What makes Gogo something to be considered?
Well, Gogo we became, here we are at the Aircraft Electronics Association show, we became an AEA member 29 years ago this coming November.
Oh, a short timer.
Yeah. So in that time, if you consider, we started as a small startup, the company formerly known as AirCell, and we have...
I remember it well.
Yeah, and we have built 4 air-to-ground networks, launched 4 air-to-ground networks, and what we have built is a reputation for quality. You made the comments before about it just works. Mm-hmm. So performance, and we have always had a path for our customers to upgrade to the next level technology, somewhat of a loyalty type program. So that's one of the things that we focused on for customer retainment. And we've also expanded beyond just the pipe on the aircraft, an internet pipe. The advanced platform that we developed is well beyond just connectivity. It also provides in-flight entertainment. It connects to what we call the Gogo Cloud. So today that's used for updating in-flight entertainment content, the movies and television shows when an airplane has the cloud in their hangar, or they have a trip and they stop at, let's say, a signature FBO that houses the cloud. But that product has been designed, and that platform has been designed to really be future-proof. So the next step for those customers that have invested in L5, as an example, is adding 5G to the infrastructure that's already in the airplane.
Outstanding.
So, yeah.
Your company has also been a big player in the community overall. You've been heavily involved with AEA.
Yeah.
These are the kind of pursuits that take a lot of time away from just normal business, but you've seen fit to make the investment. What are you getting out of your time and investment in supporting AEA?
Well, I personally have been and fortunate to be elected on the board of directors. I'm in my 3rd term. I served as the treasurer one of those terms, and when I look at that investment, it is a personal investment and a professional investment for the company, but I have got a lot out of the relationships that, of course, this association provides, and for our company, it comes down to exposure. So when you look at being involved in any association, I'm also involved in the NBA association because of the ability to be involved in that, because that's business aviation is the core there. So the AEA really provides the ability for me personally and the company professionally to do that. And we've had other employees, way back to the AirCell days. One of our employees was chairman of the board, mm-hmm. Dan Prosser, at one point. So our company has a history of involvement in the associations that we want to give back to, and also get the benefits that the association offers.
Final question, we've been asking everybody up here. Over the course of what has occurred over the last year and a half, and the changes that resulted to basically survive, how does that change Gogo as a company going forward?
Well, one of the things that we're facing now is supply chain issues, like many companies that are in the electronics world. And as we look to what has affected our ability to go beyond forecast, some components that we use in our equipment, certainly with the lengthy lead times, is something we now have to plan even more farther out. So what we've seen with our partners, the MROs, the dealers, and the OEMs, this is a big change in that they've been used to, in the past, not having lengthy lead times. Mm-hmm. So we've been required to work with them on a much closer basis for not only near-term revenue opportunities with our products, but also look long-term. We're talking about 2022 schedules with our partners right now. So if I can pinpoint one specific thing, it's that, as it relates to your business. The other thing is you get closer as an organization when you move through what we all have moved through. And I would say the relationships internally for us have gotten even closer and more synergetic between even the different departments to be able to deliver what we've done in a remote environment, because most of the employees, when the lockdowns occurred, were working remote. So that's been a big deal too, learning how to operate a business remotely.
I'll be darned. Well, I'll tell you what, we sure appreciate your time. It's been a great week so far. We started off with a bang yesterday with just a phenomenal MPI.
Yes.
The spirit here is really electrifying, okay, pun intended.
Completely agree.
And more important than anything else, I think everybody is looking to the future. We know we've got a barn burner of an Oshkosh coming.
Yep.
The folks working in the UAV community are looking forward to AUVSI in Atlanta in August. NBAA is already talking about running out of exhibit space.
Yep.
From here to God's ear, let's hope that the aviation world at this point is headed for bigger and better things and healthier things. And once again, thanks for all your help in making sure we get this done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 64th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Dallas, Texas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
ELT is just another tick on your pre-flight checklist, until you need it. Did you ever wonder what would happen if you had an engine failure over the mountains, marshland, or other dangerous terrain? Take to the skies confidently with the most reliable and highest performing ELTs and safety products on board that instantly mobilize life-saving search and rescue across the world. Read survivor stories from aviators and adventurers who survived life-threatening encounters thanks to ACR and Artex life-saving technology. Luck favors the prepared at survivorclub.com.